Welcome to the Traveling Souls Sanctuary podcast. Are you a spiritual seeker who doesn't fit into traditional religion? If so, you're not alone. The Traveling Souls Sanctuary is a community for people like you. We offer a safe space to explore your spirituality, connect with like-minded individuals, and learn from experienced teachers. In this podcast, we'll discuss a variety of topics related to spirituality, including personal growth, self-discovery, spiritual practices, community, and more. We hope you'll join us on our journey as we explore the vast landscape of the spirit.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode. I am here with Mary Dalba, the founder and starter of Traveling Soul Sanctuary. And so, as you may have seen, we had an introductory episode. Mary shared with us all about what this new endeavor is. And then we have 5 pillars as a part of the Traveling Soul Sanctuary. And last week we talked about acceptance. So if you missed that one, make sure you go back and check it out. But today we're going to talk about one of the other pillars, which is community, which is such an essential part of Traveling Soul Sanctuary. So Mary, enlighten us. Tell us more about the community pillar.
Oh, thanks, Megan. That was so nice. I'm like listening to it. I'm like, So community really came out as something that when I looked at the pillars, it just really made sense for a community to be there, because not only did I find when doing the survey for folks what they were looking for, that community was so high on the list, but also just stuff that I heard from my own clients. And what I'm hearing is that community is really needed for people to be able to connect with like-minded people, not feel like they're alone. And then to, whatever practice that they're doing, if they're there for a gratitude service or they're there for, a learning, it's like they can be part with people that are interested, because sometimes, your friends and your family aren't in the same place you are. And so this creates, a friends community or a community of like-mindedness. And that just makes it grow. And that's the point of it. I definitely cannot run it by myself. No one wants to hear my voice that long. So we need other people.
No, I think you hit the nail on the head, because especially now it is so many people are moving. I mean, now that people are working remotely or they don't need to be in the big city, they're moving anywhere. I mean, me too. I've popped from Boston to LA and here I am in Raleigh, North Carolina. And I think the first thing people look for is their community. And a lot of times it's just people think, okay, well, maybe I need to go to church. Do I get back into church? But I'm not really sure if I want to go to church, and that's not really my thing. So this is the perfect place to go to find like-minded people like us and you, everyone listening. So because people are all over, is this more of an in-person thing? Is it an online thing? What can people expect?
So we're starting off online, so that there's access for everybody. As time goes on, fingers crossed for a building. And I also have an office in Winchester, Massachusetts to start with, but there will be some in-person events. But I think right now for just starting out, and we're doing this in July of 2024, we're doing it online, but keep your eyes open. And if folks know of spaces that we could gather into, that's okay too, because I mean, Megan, you wouldn't believe how many people like, well, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? And I'm like, no, of course not. I haven't thought about that at all. Like someone had said to me, speaking of online versus in person, she said, it'd be great. The hybrid meetings are great, but if we had just separate ones too, because sometimes hybrids, you forget the people online or the online forgets people in person. So, she had said to me, maybe splitting it too. And that is a great idea. So you'll be able to see when you sign up for classes or talks or whatever, where exactly is it online or is it on Zoom? But the goal is to keep everything at least an online option so that folks who can't make it for whatever reason, it gives more accessibility, people who are all around the world kind of thing. I just wanted to be open to as many people as possible so they can meet people and just feel connected, not so alone. That's a huge part of this. I don't want people to feel alone.
And in terms of community, and I know this is very much still getting up and running, but what sort of community initiatives online are people going to be a part of or attending?
Yeah. So we're going to have some spiritual talks, things about your own spirituality, your own personal growth, how those two connect. We're going to talk about a bit about how you connect with the spirit world and not necessarily a religious way. So, like one of my friends said to me recently, and this is true, like prayer is not just, a certain religion. Everybody can speak from their heart and their own way. There'll be gatherings so folks can connect with some kind of, I sometimes you say that word worship, but something where we're connecting for the divine and to the divine. We'll have classes on intuition, just you name it. I have folks that are talking about coming in and talking about nutrition and self-care, chronic illness and spirituality. I mean, luckily I know some wonderful people that are open to doing classes, but that's also part of the community is if you have classes, you have ideas, if you have talks, if there's things, we want you to be part of that and to bring that information out to the community too. So we're encouraging people to come in and teach and talk and workshop things and gather. That's
I
what
think
it's about.
another really cool thing about it being online is that you can be as involved, and hopefully ultimately you want to be so involved, but you can be as involved as you want to be. I mean, let's say there's a class or someone speaking and you are kind of shy and you're not sure and you're testing the waters. I mean, you can pop in or leave your camera off and listen or whatever, and then slowly you can engage as much as you want. But that's why it really is a space for everybody. It's a space for the people that want to speak up and be vocal, and it's also a space for the people that are more observers, but everyone is just as welcome as the next person. Now, if I was joining virtually, and I know again this would depend on if it being a class or a speaker, but is there the option of like interactive, like can I say something or ask a question or write in the chat if I want to ask a question?
Yeah, all of those things. I think questions make the conversation richer. So yeah, absolutely. And I love the point you made, Megan, about like you can be super involved or you can observe, because I think everybody's in a different place in their spiritual life. I mean, some people may just be trying to see if it's even for them, like this talk. So yeah, I thank you for saying that, because I think come as you are. And that means whether you participate or not, we just want you to be there and get some connection. That's what's really important.
And I think you've made that so clear. And again, circling back to this entire conversation about the pillar being community is you don't need to be afraid of the word community. You don't need to be afraid of the words of getting together with other people, because you're accepted. If you do just want to be an observer, this is the place for you. I know, even though sometimes I'm very outspoken, sometimes when I'm ingesting a lot, I just want to be in the background, and I
Right.
want to be like in it, but not in it. Like, don't call on me. Don't, so it's cool that there is room for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. It's important because we're, like I said, we all process information differently, right? So like someone could listen to it, absorb it right away. Someone could take notes, need to think about it. And yeah, and that's important for everybody just to know, like, just be there, and if you want to stay in the background, that's fine. Because people can also reach out privately if they want to ask a question or whatever. That's also sometimes that's available to be able to reach out, because sometimes it's you just don't know which way to turn and you're not ready to speak in front of a group. So don't worry about doing that.
And the other really cool thing about this community is as people get more involved and this gets bigger, I mean, you're going to have situations where people are tuning in, viewing, being a part of this community from the same city. And if you're looking for that community and you're looking for friendships and you're finding that journey spiritually, you can do coffee meetups, you can find your best friend, you can find your person that you're going to marry potentially. Like, I mean, I'm thinking big, but I'm just saying
Love it.
that's why this community is so wonderful, because it's giving you a home if you feel like you're not quite home yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your space.
That's how we want everybody to feel, is they're welcomed. And I think sometimes when you go into a new place, it can be nerve-wracking, but that's not the purpose of this. The purpose is just to help with your own personal growth and development, your own heart, where you feel like your heart is. I've sometimes just quick story. You can always edit this, Megan. But,
No.
a lot of times, huh?
No, we're keeping it in. I want to hear it.
Well, part of this came from my idea of, growing up Catholic. My family and I used to go into St. Anthony's Shrine in Boston, which is known as Arch Street because it's on Arch Street in downtown Crossing. And, there was times when I was in college, I went to college in Boston, I'd just go in there and sit. Like, I just needed a place to like kind of recenter and refocus. Sometimes I wasn't necessarily going to mass, but I was sitting in there and just kind of taking in the energy and thinking about things. And I just want to create that kind of place where someone could come in and sit down. And if they want to talk to someone, they can. I never did. I just wanted to go in and just kind of get my centering back. But that's what I want to create for people, is to have that space where they could just go in and put their bag down and recenter if they need to. It's the energy of that space. It's the people, and the people make up that energy, but it is that energy where you feel like you can come in and just,
Yeah.
So yeah. So that's the idea of, St. Anthony's Shrine, where I could just sit down, and that's the same thing.
I love it.
Thank
So
you.
that was the second pillar. Again, we've done a couple other episodes, an introductory episode, and then last week's episode on acceptance, and today's episode on community. And there's still 3 more pillars, which we will be talking about in the coming weeks. But Mary, I know everyone's super intrigued. So where do we go to learn more?
Our website is thetravelingsoulsanctuary.com. You can find us there. Or if you want to reach out and you have a question, it's connect@travelingsoulsanctuary.com.
Awesome. Mary, thank you so much, and can't wait to see you next week.
Yes, thanks, Megan.
Thank you for listening to the Traveling Souls Sanctuary podcast. We hope you found this episode informative and inspiring. If you did, please share it with your friends and family. And of course, like and subscribe. You can find us on our website at www.thetravelingsoulsanctuary.com and connect with us on all social media platforms. Until next time, may you find peace and joy on your spiritual path. And remember, you are magic.